श्री गणेशाय नमः। ॐ श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। 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 ॐ वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। मूकं करोति कल्याणं मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्। ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ध्यायामि चिन्मयानन्दं गुरुदेवं महामतिं प्रेमपूर्णं क्रियाशीलं सदा लोकहिते रतं कृपालुं सुन्दराकारं समर्थं सत्यदर्शिनं वाचा तत्त्वप्रकाशिन्या शोकमोहविनाशिनम्। ॐ श्री सद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम, सुप्रभातम। On this first day of a new decade, 2021, January 1st, I wish you all a very happy new year. I invoke the blessings of Bhagavan, the Guru Parampara and Parampujya Gurudev for a very happy, healthy and heartful new year and the year ahead. May Bhagavan grace all of us to move forward in our sadhana, in our life, towards the very purpose of this life. Om Tat Sat. Hari Om. A warm welcome back to this second series of Bhaja Govindam. We have completed the Dvadasha Manjarika Stotram. We will chant first and then we will proceed further. भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते सम्प्राप्ते सन्निहिते काले नहि नहि डुक्कृङ्करणे मूढजहीः धनागमतृष्णां कुरु सद्बुद्धिं मनसि वितृष्णाम् यल्लभसे निज कर्मोपात्तं वित्तं तेन विनोदय चित्तम् नारीस्तनभरनाभिदेशं दृष्ट्वा मागा मोहावेशम् एतन्मांसवसादिविकारं मनसि विचिन्तय वारं वारम् नलिनीदलगतजलमतितरलं तद्वज्जीवितमतिशयचपलं विद्धि व्याध्यभिमानग्रस्तं लोकं शोकहतं च समस्तम् यावद्वित्तोपार्जनसक्तः तावन्निज परिवारो रक्तः पश्चाज्जीवति जर्जरदेहे वार्तां कोऽपि न पृच्छति गेहे यावत्पवनो निवसति देहे तावत् पृच्छति कुशलं गेहे गतवति वायौ देहापाये भार्या बिभ्यति तस्मिन् काये बालस्तावत् क्रीडासक्तः तरुणस्तावत् तरुणीसक्तः वृद्धस्तावत् चिन्तासक्तः परमे ब्रह्मणि कोऽपि न सक्तः काते कान्ता कस्ते पुत्रः संसारोऽयमतीव विचित्रः कस्य त्वं कः कुत आयातः तत्त्वं चिन्तय तदिह भ्रातः सत्सङ्गत्वे निस्सङ्गत्वं निस्सङ्गत्वे निर्मोहत्वं निर्मोहत्वे निश्चलतत्वं निश्चलतत्वे जीवन्मुक्तिः वयसि गते कः कामविकारः शुष्के नीरे कः कासारः क्षीणे वित्ते कः परिवारो ज्ञाते तत्त्वे कः संसारः मा कुरु धनजन यौवनगर्वं हरति निमेषात् कालः सर्वं मायामयमिदम् अखिलं बुद्ध्वा ब्रह्मपदं त्वं प्रविश विदित्वा दिनयामिन्यौ सायं प्रातः शिशिरवसन्तौ पुनरायातः कालः क्रीडति गच्छत्यायुः तदपि न मुञ्चति आशावायुः भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते सम्प्राप्ते सन्निहिते काले नहि रक्षति डुक्कृङ्करणे। मोह मुद्गरः. Mudgaraha means hammering and moha delusion. The whole stotram Bhaja Govindam is actually removing our delusion. In fact, very importantly speaking, this is basically to prepare our mind to surge forward into the direction of Atma Vidya. If our mind has to turn towards that, It is very important that the mind is purified before it starts dwelling into the Atma Vidya. Reason is, with an impure mind, the deliberations will have its own coloring. Like, for example, I have a vessel into which I have to pour milk. Milk is a very, very healthy food for any creature, in fact. But the vessel into which I pour the milk, if it is not clean, nothing happens to the dirt in the vessel, but even the milk which we pour into it gets contaminated. Therefore, it is very important for us to cleanse the vessel properly, purify it, clean it, wipe it probably, and then when I pour the milk becomes usable, edible. Similarly, Acharya must have thought that this cleansing process is very important for a human mind to march forward. Then the question comes. What is the question? Human mind itself means impure. Then where is the question of cleaning the mind? Then the rishis are so compassionate. What they say is, at the first step, understand the logic behind the impurity, understand the logic behind the cleansing process, and understand the logic behind gaining the truth, and then you will find that the movement from where we are to where we ought to be is easier than before. It is not that immediately the road becomes very easy. No. That is not so easy. It becomes difficult. It is difficult rather. But the best thought here is, it is difficult but not impossible. Therefore, since it is possible, since it is difficult, the Acharyas, the Guru Parampara comes in favor of our ability. The very interesting part here is, we are not confident about ourselves, but the Acharyas are confident. The Acharyas say, you are not at fault because you have not been guided. Here is the guidance given to you. Think properly so that you can march forward. In a staircase, when I am right at the bottom, how do I climb the staircase and go up? I cannot jump from here to there leaving both the legs. I will fall. Therefore, what is the process here? I put one step upwards in the first step, and I don't put the same foot to the second step. What do? I put one step forward and remove my leg from the step below and then put this step ahead, while the step which has been put forward is very stable. Thus we find every step put forward, when we are stable, when we put a very firm footing, if it is a very firm footing, then it is easier for the other leg to drop the connectivity with the earlier step and place it higher. This movement requires two things. One is attachment and two, detachment. This process of attaching to the higher and detaching to the lower is called sadhana. When I attach the first step to the higher, I also make an attempt in detaching from the lower and put that step again, probably higher than this step which is already one step ahead. Think. This movement of one step higher and another step higher to that, another step higher to that, when there is a step higher, it may appear lower when I put this step up. But this step is very important for the other step to go up. Think of this process. Therefore, Acharya here is doing what? He is making us climb the steps. Like how a father or a mother will hold the child's hand to put one step forward. Sometimes they hold both the hands. That is the love and compassion they have. Give their hands for the child to hold both the hands and one step. This is exactly how the Bhaja Govindam is beautifully coined. Remember, right away at the outset, somebody cannot start talking about the higher because I don't know what it is. When I have to know what it is, I can know only when my intellect is sharper. If my intellect has to be sharper, my mind has to be quiet. If my mind has to be quiet, the mind must be rendered pure. Purity of the mind is equal to quieter the mind. Rather, quieter the mind, purer the mind. Purer the mind, quieter the mind. And such a quiet, pure mind is ready to receive the knowledge. The knowledge is pure. But this vessel into which the knowledge is to be poured must be cleansed before the knowledge gets in. And Bhaja Govindam is the cleaning process for the mind to soar higher, surge higher. And then we found the 12 shlokas what we have chanted are those which are giving us a logical, intellectual, rational thinking with which I can cleanse my mind. It is indeed very interesting to note there are two types of people. One are the people who take shelter in giving excuses for not cleaning their mind. And we have the other who have a clean mind and who are looking for opportunities to gain more knowledge. At the second instance, it is easier for them to move ahead because they require the knowledge. They want the knowledge. They have cleaned their mind. Therefore, teaching them is not a very big issue. Teaching comes only to those who are taking shelter in justifications, taking shelter in excuses, taking shelter in their own weaknesses, calling it common. I am a common, normal human being, Swamiji. When they say, that means what? They are not yet ready to surge forward, march forward. 1. 2, they might not have been, giving them the benefit of doubt, they might not have been exposed to logical, rational thinking and taking them away from the hangovers of sentimental pleasures. Acharya Shankara at every instance gives us such a logic that even a dull wit will start thinking. Think. We found this, that is why it is called Moha Mudgara. Acharya is hammering on our head. Of what? About our delusion. Now see, here he never talks about Atman, Parabrahma Swarupa, Paramatma. No, he doesn't talk that much. He only first talks of what is it that I am in, and he is hammering to wake us up from that delusion. That is why it is called Moha Mudgara. The second name is Bhajagovindam, because this is very popular. Why it is very popular? Because it starts with that Bhajagovindam we just chanted. And Bhaja is a beautiful word which people like. Generally people like Bhaja, the word Bhaja. So bhajans people enjoy. Govindam, Krishna. So Krishna is a very loving character presented by mythology. A character whom everyone wants to love. A character which everybody wants to play with. Very interestingly, you will find maybe 60% of the people, even though they don't know anything about Krishna, what have they known? Some little leelas of Krishna, pranks of Krishna, like the grandmother must have told the stories of Krishna in their childhood. That has got into the nerve there. And every time Krishna is a very delightful personality. Look at that. Sri Ramchandra ji is not a delightful personality. Maryada Purushottam Sri Ram. So very revered personality. Hanumanji, powerful personality. But I have no power, so I may not choose much. Why? Because my category, my character does not fit in. Krishna fits into everybody. Therefore, Govinda is a very beautiful character. So people enjoy. So Govinda is an enjoyable character. Bhajans. Why bhajans is very important? Because people don't have to think too much. People enjoy that. People don't want to think much. That is why the laborer who has nothing much to think gets less money. A person who thinks, he may work for 1 hour, but he gets a lot of money because thinking is very, very considered to be very high. And many people think it is not my cup of tea. Therefore, if I conduct a bhajan session, if I conduct a puja, if I conduct one Chandi Homa, let us say, lots of people come. Why? Easier. But when we conduct Jnana Yajnas, when we conduct discourses on Upanishads or Bhagavad Gita or Bhajagovindam, not many people would join. Why? For them it is heavy. Swamiji, I can't understand. It goes far above my head. Therefore, bhajans, bhakti, one Ishtadevata appears to be very good and comfortable. They want to remain in that comfort zone. Therefore, Bhajagovindam became more popular. Then the first section of 12 shlokas were called Dvadasha Manjarika Stotram, which is the original text of Bhagavan Shri Adi Shankara. Adi Shankaracharya ji wrote the 12 shlokas which we have seen in the previous series. Now we are stepping into the next section. What is this next section? When the Shishyas of Acharya Shankara learned the 12 shlokas from Acharya himself, they were so inspired. They were filled with so much of gratitude towards the teacher. Their heart was full. Why? The Shishyas were very pure by themselves. Therefore, these shlokas must have definitely taken them to a very extolled experience. Therefore, out of gratitude, out of joy, if we have to talk in the foreign language, because we like foreign language more than our Matrabhasha, thanksgiving. Kritagnyata bhava is the right word to be used. Out of Kritagnyata bhava, each one of the Shishyas gave one shloka. Like you pluck flowers, you make a garland and offer it to the Lord. That garland is Dvadasha Manjarika Stotram written by Acharya Shankara. Then we also have flowers to offer at the feet. Now the Shishyas are offering one flower each at the feet of their master as a gratitude. And this section is called Charpata Panjarika Stotram. That is what we will see in this section. Now, to just take, recap. It is very important because I am very sure most of you who have been listening would have forgotten that there was one Bhajagovindam talk earlier. And then, I am also very sure, exception sustained, I am also very sure you would not have revised what has been done. Therefore, just as the Acharya comes down with compassion to lift us up, today I take up a little recap before I continue. The cause of the stotram is an old man trying to by heart, trying to learn the Dhatu Pataha. Dhatu Pata means what? The basic roots of Sanskrita Bhasha. At that age, Sanskrita Bhasha may not be of that use. Now let me confirm. At that age, underline, every Bhasha must have a grammar. Grammar is required for every language, and language is required for communication. Communication is required for gaining knowledge. Therefore, to gain the ultimate knowledge, communication is a must. The Guru has to communicate to the Shishya. And for communication, one common bhasha between the Shishya and the Guru is very important. And for that bhasha, grammar is inevitable. Accepted. But at the age, at the fag end of life, to start thinking of grammar is useless. It has to be learned at the earlier age which we have missed. Therefore, Acharya says, forget the grammar now, old man. Think of the facts of life. Think of Bhagavan. Remember the Lord, which is more result oriented at that stage. What is required at that age is quietude of mind. Earlier we saw Vruddhastavat Chinta Saktaha. People are worried in their old age, feeling the whole lifetime to gain this. They are worried. What are they worried for? Very interesting. They are not worried for not gaining the knowledge of the Supreme. They are worried again for all the petty pleasures and petty things of life. So Acharya says, Bhaja, Govindam Bhaja, forget everything. Now you are old. Your son, your daughter-in-law, your grandchildren, all of them have been given the path to walk. Let them do their part. Now it is time to withdraw. Retire not only from the official work, professional work, retire from family thinking. family thoughts. That is why Vanaprastha. Forget. Focus your mind towards the Lord. This is what Acharya wanted to convey to all of us through that old man. Now, that is the very cause that became the old man became the nimitta matram. He only became an excuse for Acharya to tell all of us what are we supposed to do. In the process, what have we done? We have taken the means to the end. The destination is one thing, the means towards the destination is another thing. Now, this Manushya Janma has been given to us with an intention of making us know the truth behind and leave them behind and march forward. A body is given to us. This body, the human body, is given to us. A mind which is there with every creature, no doubt, but is added with intelligence, sixth sense. Now, all these three are important for every jiva to use them for marching ahead. Just as a bulb by itself cannot do anything without electricity. But electricity is useless without the bulb. Think. Bulb is required. Similarly, a body is required. A mind is required to deliberate. An intelligence is required to decide. And the same intelligence is used to march forward and leave all the other things behind. Body, mind, intellect. All the three become the gadget for the higher self to express itself and to know that I am not the body, mind and intellect, and come to reach the higher true nature, our own nature, which is Parabrahma Paramatma, is the process. For that, body, mind and intellect is required. Therefore, use them to reach further. But what have we done? We have taken the body itself to be me. We have taken the mind itself to be me. We have taken the intellect itself to be me. And anything happening to the body, mind and intellect and the relationships of the body, mind and intellect, I take it to be happening to me. And therefore, Sukha, Dukkha, Labha, Nashta, Ninda, Stuti are all me, myself suffering. Think. Therefore, the purpose of this knowledge is not to hang over, not to hold on the means, but release them and move to the end. Use the path to move, but leave the path once you reach. Like any other vehicle, I use my vehicle to move from my place to another destination where I have sought to. But I don't take the vehicle inside the house or any place there, and I don't bring the vehicle inside my house, inside my bedroom to keep it. No. I leave the vehicle outside the moment I reach the destination. When I come back, I leave the vehicle outside. I might take it inside the compound probably. For what? For safety purposes. I keep it inside the compound. But I leave it there, come inside my home and live happily. Is it not? Similarly, the body, mind and intellect are those which I have to use it for commuting from this Jivatva Bhavana to Paramatma Bhavana. And body has to be released. Body is not the end. Mind is not the end. Intelligence is not the end. Then why is it that I am hanging on? Because of delusion. And therefore, Moha Mudgaraha is that which hammers this delusion. Now, Bhasha, if we again take the earlier discussion, the old man who was trying to study the Bhasha is sadhanam to reach the sadhyam, which is Atmanistha. But the sadhanam should be very clear. The sadhanam, the body, mind, intellect, or the language, the units which are used as tools to reach the higher, all of them must be clean. What do you mean by clean? Now, cleaning the process is what which is happening, and if we can summarize all of them before we conclude today's session, there are three important truths of life. Three important truths. What is the first truth? The truth is, life is unpredictable. This is the first truth. The second truth is, life is uncontrollable. And the third truth is, life is unsustainable. Now look at these three very clearly. One is, nothing in the world is predictable. Nothing, including you yourself. Nothing is predictable. Because we think, isn't it every one of us, our experience, we all think life will be like this, I will be like that, this alone should happen, that will happen, I will now gain knowledge, then I will become the CEO of a company, then I will have a big bungalow, then I will have a nice car, and a long and big car I will have, maybe a foreign car I can have, I will have a very beautiful wife, I will have a very interesting children. Like that, every one of us have started dreaming in our young age. How many of us have actually reached that very destination we have thought of? Think. Life gives us shots after shots and take us where we never would have even dreamt. Think. An atheist in the childhood is today talking in front of you as a sannyasi about life's unpredictability. Think. I never believed in God in my childhood. Think. I would not, why me, everybody, even my parents, would not have even dreamt in a wildest dream that I will become a sannyasi. Think. Life takes turns, and those turns many times are very sharp. It takes us to such destinations where we would not even know what to do. Think. Everyone thinks their wife, their children, their parents, their in-laws, so many people, all of them should be the way I want them to be. Never happens in life, is it not? Never. Think. This is life. Absolutely unpredictable. And the very existence of life is also unpredictable. I am not sure how long I will live. Today I am talking in front of you. Tomorrow there is no guarantee. I may have made a lot of plans. Bhaja Govindam, December 1st to 10th, January 1st to 10th, Bhaja Govindam. February, another text. March, another text. April, another text. Like that, I might have made a lot of plans. 2021, 2022, plans are over. It's only an example. Think. How many of you have planned? Swamiji, up to my retirement, I have to work, Swamiji. After that, I will serve the society. Nobody has come. In fact, people who served more are people who are in work only, who are in a profession. Many of them. Think. So many people think, I will become that, I want my son to become an engineer. Why? I could not become. Think. So many, life throws so much of unpredictable results. Think. Therefore, unpredictability is the first truth. Second, what is that second truth? Uncontrollable. There are so many things which we have no control. Leave the world, leave the people, leave your own so-called relationships. Talk about yourself. Can I control myself? Think. We ourselves many times, even if we don't want to do, we are unable, we are pushed, we are thrown into circumstances where we fall prey. Think. Why? Because of the lack of confidence in me myself. Because of probably inability in myself. I cannot control my own mind. How many of us, in fact, let me challenge everybody. Everybody, no, not one person left. Anybody and everybody. Let me challenge. 45 minutes of this talk, you cannot listen 45 minutes. Bet. Think. Why? I am unable to control my mind. How many of you will endorse this statement? One cannot control their own tongue. Either eating or talking, both ways. And then later, I should not have done this. How many of us have thought about it? I had the ability. I had the knowledge. I had the technical know-how as to how I should or I should not. I could have. But I fall prey to such forces and I become helpless, in a helpless condition, and I throw myself helplessly. And once that particular aspect is over, I regret. Athakena prayuktoyam papam charati purushaha. Anichannapi. Therefore, very many forces we cannot control. The modern technology has built itself so well that it may predict also. Like for example, the cyclone. We can predict the cyclone is at this spot, the cyclone is coming, the cyclone is going to enter this spot on this time, this day, this time. It is possible. But can you control the cyclone? No. We can make preparations. We can evacuate people to another higher planes. But we have no choice, we have no control of the cyclone. Similar is the inner cyclone. Think. Both ways, outer cyclone and inner cyclone, we are unable to control. We become helpless prey to our own cyclones, outer and inner. And the third truth is, nothing in this world is sustainable. Nothing in this world is permanent. 23 hours time for you to find out one item which is permanent in this world. 23 hours time. We will meet tomorrow with that thought. Alright? Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.